All right, you're back with DJ Viceroy right here on your radio, and that was I'm Blue by Eiffel 65. Yeah, we are now going to go ahead and begin our talk show this Saturday afternoon, which we do every Saturday. And I, of course, want to introduce to you all our guests for this afternoon, our DJs and guests. For this afternoon, of course. And we have with us here today DJ Deadeye from Sonoma, I think he is. Isn't that right, Deadeye? Sonoma?
Yep, that's the right place.
Okay, and we also have Fool here, who's a guest with us today. He's one of our listeners on your radio, and so we're going to introduce him. I think he is from Europa. Is that right, Fool?
Yep, I'm playing Europa and a bit of Legends.
Oh, okay, Legends, American chart, okay. That's not too bad, play one of each, that way if your shard's down, you have a little nether shard that you can go and play on whenever, So with that said, we're going to go ahead and begin our little talk show, and I got my little list of things to talk about. And basically, I'm going to go down the list, and I'm looking here. I'm kind of curious as to whether or not you guys think, if you guys looked at the on the images for the ML promotions and everything, you see that you see how they have the elves and everything. Do you think any of these images came over from the UXO design, or images or anything like that? Do you think any of these images came from UXO? I mean, let's say they just have these images lying around. It's like, oh, we can make use of this image here for promotional thing. I want to know if you guys think they might have done that. Go ahead, DJ Deadeye.
Actually, I've never seen any of the images from UXO, so I wouldn't have any idea. I think the images look fine. Anything new that we, that gives us something new in the game is good, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, what I mean by the images, I'm talking about the promotional images, not the in-game images or anything like that. I'm talking about the promotional images, like the game box images and stuff like that. The images on the posters, being used for the posters and on the website and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. So I was kind of wondering if you thought maybe because some of these images look very familiar, like they were maybe taken from UXO. I don't know. I didn't really look at UXO too much, but I was kind of curious if maybe they did something like that. But anyways, since Fool, you have anything that you want to say on that or anything before we move on to our next question or anything here?
I've got to admit I haven't really seen any of the graphics they produced for Euro X, but I've got to admit the images seem to be working, going with the main theme of what they're trying to produce anyway.
Yeah, I hear you on that. All right, let's see. I wonder what do you guys like best about the upcoming? Or should I? Let me rephrase that question. What are you guys looking forward to with Yo Modane's Legacy? Are you guys looking forward to say the ferrets or the parrot or the fish tanks or whatever? I'm kind of curious as to what you guys are looking forward to. I personally am looking forward to the pets that you're going to be able to have, like the parrots and the squirrels and the ferret. I think those are pretty cool things, but that's pretty much the only thing I'm really looking forward to. I just want to have a parrot so I can just bug the hell out of everybody at the West Bank of Britain, Hello, Go ahead, DJ Deadeye.
Okay, excuse my dog in the background. I'll talk in a minute.
All right, go ahead, Fool.
Okay, just looking at some of the expansion themes. Basically, what I'm looking at just to see what it's like. It's a quest system. So at the moment, basically, you've got your 2 quests, and it's just going to open up a lot more for the RPers, I think, community to actually get involved in the mainstream of the game. Well, I'm not putting them down by saying that, hopefully, but it's that kind of thing. I'm looking into the quests and maybe more quests coming up, get ingredients. It's going to bring a lot of different themes and different kinds of playstyle into one bracket.
Bracket. Could you explain that a little bit more? Or did you get cut off?
Yeah, I got cut off. Sorry about that. Yeah, at the moment you've got your different people, different play styles, trying to mingle and trying to do their own thing. But now you can actually bring it all together. You've got your crafters relying on your warriors, your mages coming in and helping out to collect your resources and things like that from the peerless bosses. So it's just bringing everything together a bit more. It's more cohesive.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Did you ever get your dog quiet over there? And do you have anything that you want to add to this?
Yeah, I got her quiet. I threw an empty pack of cigarettes at her. Anyway, I'm looking forward to just all kind of things, man. You know, when I went over, I had a beta code. I didn't run it a lot because I think I mentioned once before that I found that was the first time I'd ever done a beta, and I found it a little clumsy. You know, I was running around with a character I wasn't used to, and even though I could set everything was, you know, it was just kind of a little strange. But anyway, being the guild master of a archers guild. Archery guild. Of course, I made a beeline for the archery stuff, and you know, I did up a crafter who, you know, I ran his skills up in bow crafting, fletching, all that kind of stuff. And I went over there and did a couple of quests and got a couple of recipes and made some of the bows. Went out and whacked something with them, and I was really impressed. The elven bows worked really well. I'm looking forward to the being able to craft new items, like with the new gems, for example, throwing them in, which is a kind of a taste of what they do in Diablo 2, for example. I have a friend that plays that a lot, you know, and giving things different item attributes and stuff. Also, from that standpoint, I'm looking forward to the fact that since I've always run a GM miner and I've made a lot of my money over the years, mining, selling ingots and this kind of thing, there's something new I can mine, something to put on my vendors. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fact there's two or three more potions. I'm also in the potion business, so I'm going to be geared up, and I'm getting geared up and getting ready and getting all the information I need to be able to, you know, stock the new things and get them out there real quick, you know, because whether people really like using them or not, everybody's going to want to try them from the get-go, and I can make a fortune. So, yeah, there's all kind of things looking forward to it. I just love it. There's all kind of new stuff. And everyone I've talked to is you know, just sitting around really excited about the whole thing. So I think the overall feeling throughout the game for the thing is even with all the griping and complaining, and of course I think we hear a little more of that than maybe we do the other things that are a little more positive because you know, the squeaky wheel gets kind of loud sometimes. But anyway, yeah, everybody's pretty upbeat, and I'm ready to go. There's just all kinds of things, almost too many to list here.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to some of the new things that are going to be coming on with the expansion. One of the things I'm just looking forward to, you know, I pretty much got the expansion for the 20% storage increase, the pets. I pretty much want the pet parrot. So that way, you know, like I said, I can bring it along, you know, and just have it say hello over and over or something like that. And I just love it when the parrots say hello. Actually, as a matter of fact, I got a parrot in the stable right now that just been collecting dust for the very reason whenever I actually do play the game, I can actually pull out my parrot and say hello. I just love the little pet parrot. Just big old freak about the parrot. But anyways, let's see. Just quickly let you guys know that the event over on Europa is wrapped up and everything. So the EM event on Europa is now over with. So it looks like it was like the 6th part of the current Europa storyline. So anyways, we'll go ahead and move on to our next subject unless you guys have anything else that you want to guys quickly add to the subject. But, you know, I'm just pretty much looking for the 20% storage increase, having the option of, you know, maybe making an elf character some point in time. But, you know, I'll probably go check out the Elven City just for the hell of it, just to see what that's like. I'm kind of hoping it'll be impressive or something, you know, something different. Is it like just the Elven City, or is it like a whole underground world? Could you elaborate on that, Deadeye?
Yes, it's been over there, and I'm going to kill this dog. I'm going to kill it. Anyway, yeah, it probably could have been. You know, I guess it could have been more extensive, I guess. But it's kind of a layout. Kind of looks like it's up in a big tree, and it has branches like the walking areas where the different elven characters are standing, and different areas. It's kind of sectioned off, compartmentalized. As far as over here is where your smiths and smithing people are at, and here's over your tailoring people and all this kind of stuff. And there's other elven people, and all the individual elven people that might not be crafters all offer quests and everything. But it's kind of made to look like it's up at the top of a big tree, which I don't think they did too bad a job of it. But if you stop and think, try to how make that look right in a 2D environment might be kind of difficult. But no, it's not like a whole underground world or anything. But it is kind of it reminds me a little bit of the City of Wind, a little bit. How that's done underground and stuff, something like that.
Yeah, I totally hear you on that. Let's see. I'm just reading over some emails and stuff. Oh yeah, I quickly wanted to comment on something because I was kind of taken back by this. As you guys know, for all you guys that are listening to Yo Radio and listening on our Friday and Sunday interviews and everything, which we do every week, you will know that we pretty much go around interviewing some of the large guilds and stuff like that. I just quickly want to read an email. Well, I won't read it, but I'll give you an idea of what the email said. I just got slammed. Slammed for interviewing a particular guild. And they was like, oh, you're the mouthpiece of this guild. You was baited, and you took the bait. And, I'm not listening to your radio anymore because of it. I'm like, cool it, dude. If you hate this guild, that's fine, but don't be hating your radio for it, because I don't even know the guild, I just know whatever they tell me, So, really, I'm just a little taken back by the whole fact that I would get, basically saying, I'm not listening to your radio. I'll make damn sure that my friends don't listen to your radio and everything. I'm like, good Lord, get over it. It's a game. If you don't like these people, so be it. I can understand why some people don't like other people in this game. But don't let it, affect other things in your life, I would like to hear what your thoughts are on that or something like that. Deadeye? You think people have a right to be upset when we interview a guild that they hate, just absolutely hate, to take it out on your radio, or you think they might have went a little bit overboard? Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, our listeners are free to do whatever they want to do. I've been in this similar business, not on a radio station like this, but working around the clubs and stuff and doing this kind of thing. And you can't please everybody, man. You just can't. And everybody has a right to their opinion, and we respect all of them. Some people are going to, but that's one thing that we have kind of made ourselves to be a little bit by. Say, for example, doing the guild interviews, and of course, one of the fun things about it is generally sometimes opponents of a particular guild get in the IRC channel and they're kicking things around, and it gets downright rowdy every once in a while, and we kind of have to ride her on that a little bit. But we've kind of made ourselves a little bit of a sounding board, so that kind of goes with it. Yeah, you just got a particularly flaming one, I think. So.
Yeah. I was just like, wow. Oh my goodness. I just can't believe the kind of stuff I get my way. I get people that are just absolutely furious, and I was just like, whoa. Oh well. Hopefully you'll get over it. If not, that's fine. Deadeye, you have anything else that you want to say?
Oh yeah, and why it was directed at you? Well, you're the boss around UO Radio, and it's lonely at the top. It goes with the territory, man.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I've been too alone at the top. I guess I need to bring some more people up to the top, but I don't know. Probably not. But anyways, I'll go ahead and move along quickly to our next subject here. Let's see. Okay. Does the zoo have a limit on the number of animals it takes in, and also does it take in tamed monsters? Does anybody know that? Fool or Deadeye, do you know the answer to that? Do you know if there's a limit on how many they can have in at any given time in the zoo? Like, for example, is this zoo going to be at maximum capacity at any point in time, where they say, I'm sorry, we can't take any more animals or anything, or sorry, we got enough food for the moment, or is there going to be anything like that?
I have actually no idea. When I was messing around over the beta, I really didn't even go over and mess with the thing.
Okay, well, I'm kind of curious. I wish somebody out there, if anybody out there who's listening and knows anything about that, knows about whether or not they have a limit in place on how many animals they can take in, and whether or not they take in tamed monsters like a tamed mung bat or something like that. Please let me know on IRC or come on into the call-in room and on TeamSpeak and let me know. I'm kind of curious about that. If you know something I don't, I'm more than glad to hear it. Come on over. Let's see. And if you want to join us on our IRC chat, you can go over to yoradio.com and click on the IRC link on there, I think, or you can put in the IRC details, 1 to 2. And so with that said, I'm trying to figure that out. Also, I want to know if there's a limit on how much food they can take in. Oh, I'm sorry, we have enough food at the moment. We're a little overstocked or something like that, or if it's just unlimited, that we can just stock up until until we're just sick of looking at all this food. But it'd be interesting nonetheless, just to see how that works. Because if I'm looking at it from this point of view, if they do not have a limit on it, well then people are just going to abuse the system over time, and then it's going to, the rarity of the zoo and the extent or the longevity of the zoo in the community collection is going to be halved. Whereas if you put a limit on how many there can be in there at any point in given time, well then you increase the longevity of the community collection. For example, if you put a restriction on or a cap on the number of food that can be donated to the zoo and stuff like that, well then this thing is going to be around for a lot longer. Whereas if you make it a limited number that it can take in, well, it's going to be there for maybe 2 or 3 months, then it's just going to be like a fad and it's going to die out and stuff like that. So I'm kind of curious about that. I wish somebody in beta, or if anybody has been playing beta, could maybe tell me something like that. That would be great. I would be so much in your debt if you could answer that for me. Because I'm really curious about that, because I'm really interested in that. I thought it was a unique system, but I wonder how much thought they actually put into it and everything. Okay, and so what I'm going to do you guys have any thoughts on that, as to maybe whether they should have a limit in place on how many animals they take in, or food, or ingots and stuff like that? I mean, do you think there should be a limit, or do you think there ought to be no limit? Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, it seemed to me that if it's going to be a continuing in-game activity, they could. I would think that they wouldn't set a limit on it, because it's going to be something, an activity for tamers and whatnot to do, and turn around and reap whatever rewards come from bringing things in. Of course, in order to make it a little more involved to do that, then you could periodically have the zoo get full to where you might have to wait an hour or two before you turn a critter in or something like that, just to where there's a little more to it,
Yeah, totally. Totally. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, as just saying this, as far as what I've seen on the beta testing with the zoo scenario, there isn't a limit on how many animals it actually takes in at a certain time. It's just a big sink of animals, basically. You put an animal in, you get your points for it. You've got your main animals which they take in, dragons, drakes, polar bears. It's animals like that you get your points for, but it is actually only certain animals.
Okay. So basically, I'm reading IRC here, and Jammer over here on IRC is saying, the collections decay over time, so you have to keep donating stuff. So that is a good thing. So my question is, if that's the case, is there like a limit? Saying, hey, we can't take no more food. We got enough food as is, and with the decay timer, the food eventually runs out, or it's not at maximum capacity where you can start donating again. Is it anything like that, Jammer? If you could let me know, that would be great. This is giving me more of an insight and understanding of how the collection system works. And I don't think there's been enough emphasis or enough information about the collection system as to how it's going to work and stuff like that. And that's what I'm really curious about, because this is what's going to be the future gold sink for Ultimate Online. It's going to remove a lot of resources and items from the game. So I think it should have been explained a lot more than what a lot of people know about it, because I think unless you take the time to educate people about it, I don't think many people are going to take advantage of it, other than for the rewards and stuff like that. So I think the more we educate players about, the systems in the game, I think the more we will see players using these systems more on a wider scale. Do you understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, Fool.
Yeah, I've noticed about what you're actually speaking about with all the promotion and all the literature given out about ML. There hasn't been anything actually saying much about it, about the collection scheme, or what you actually collect, or how much you need to collect of various items. I mean, I played a bit of the beta, so I know what to collect. I've been going around collecting ingots, boards, things like that to trade in. That's given a lot of people an advantage over other people as well. So as soon as ML starts, people are going to be trading in, getting the high-end artifacts for the trade-in, and it's going to be pushing the prices up, and it's going to be a bit of a strange market to start at price-wise on artifacts and things like that.
Okay, so, and I'm looking here on the IRC again, and Jammer's saying there's just a 1-point collection. I'm not sure what that means or whatever. So I guess that means there's only, you get points for everything, whether you donate to the zoo or you donate to the library or whatever else, or whatever collections are out there, communities are out there. I guess it pretty much all goes into one, if you donate to the zoo, well, you're getting points. If you donate to the library, you're getting the same points and everything. So that's my understanding and everything. Let's see. And then he goes on to say, and when points are accumulated, you get the next tier. Basically, one tier always brings one new animal to the zoo. So I'm not sure if I understand that, but I guess that makes a little bit of sense, I suppose. Fool, did you have anything else that you wanted to add, or did you forget to turn off your little red light?
I guess I forgot to turn off. Sorry, mate.
No problem. And then he goes on to say, and you can always donate more points but when the last tier is activated, no new monsters will appear there. Okay, and then so then the community thing dies. But you still get the individual rewards. Okay, so I guess I'm a little bit of a loss as to. I guess I can't quite envision that in my head at the moment. I guess I would actually have to see it to have a better understanding. But I think this information that Jammer is providing with us with and everything, I think it gives us somewhat an idea as to what to expect from it, and expect with this community collection and everything. So it'll definitely be interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move along to our next thing. I'm actually curious. Well, I guess Tamed Monsters would be in there. Be saying Drakes and all that are going to be in there as well. All right. Well, how do you think? How does the museum work? How does the library collection work as well? Do you guys have any idea how the museum and library collection works? Can you guys give me any idea as to how that might work? For people on IRC, people who are tuned in, do you have any idea how that might work? Deadeye, any clue, or Fool, any clue?
I don't have a clue.
All right, how about you, Fool? Do you have any clue at all?
Well, as far as what I was actually doing on beta, I was just collecting resources and giving it to the various, the librarian, the Vesper trader, whatever it was, to try and get a reward. I'm not sure whether it's part of a collective scheme or not, but I was just giving them resources, basically.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. I'm kind of curious as to why would the librarian need, things like ingots and stuff like that. Why do you think the librarian needs ingots? Any idea, Paul?
Sorry, for that, I haven't really got an idea. I think it's just general where should we put the ingots so you can take them, and it's just been given to the librarian. There's a couple of odd ones I noticed. Can't actually remember them off the top of my head, but when it comes in, you will see there's some strange associations of resources to where you have to give them to.
Okay, and so let me just read more of what Jammer is saying and everything. He's saying it's kind of hard to explain and everything, which is very understandable and everything. He goes, and 1 point collection per. Let me move this out of the way. 1 point collection per collection or per NPC. It's kind of hard to explain, he says, but if we take the zoo, for example, there is one box you can donate animals and money to, and the box points goes up. But when there's enough points for next tier, new monsters appear in the zoo. Okay, I'm starting to get a better idea as to how that works. Basically, it's like a leveling system. You level up the zoo. Or what? That's what I'm really looking forward to and everything. So, it'd definitely be interesting. Let's see. And it goes on to say, and then everyone has individual points that you get the rewards from the zoo. Okay. So I guess they have like two different point system. One for the leveling of the zoo, like the zoo level. Of its status level or something like that. And then you have individual points in which you can redeem for like rewards and stuff like that. So I guess I guess I can understand that. So yeah, okay. What I wanted to point out today, also, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic here, which is donation boxes. I'm kind of curious as to, I actually posted this ideal up on the what is it called? The Ideals Den on U-Haul or whatever, Stratix forums or whatever. Yeah, Ideals Den. Yeah, that's what it is. I posted an ideal basically, and let me find it here real quick and everything. But I kind of I want y'all's thoughts on what you guys think about maybe having an in-game donation box, which player-run establishments and stuff like that can basically set up a donation box to where they can basically set a box or a container and set it to anyone, have it locked down or secured, and then people can go in there and drop gold checks, and gold in there, and other things that they want to put in there and stuff like that. I want to know if you guys think that should be something that you should add to the game, if you think it'd be widely used, and how popular do you think that would be for, player establishments in game and stuff like that, for like player-run communities and stuff like that, starting with Deadeye.
Oh, well, that's done a lot. I've seen that done lots of times. I know a lovely lady by the name of Love Spirit who runs a outfit called the Rainbow End on Sonoma, and her whole guild is dedicated to helping newbies, and they have collection boxes set up just exactly like that. As a matter of fact, I decided to take down a couple of vendors that had a bunch of stuff on them that really wasn't selling and all that kind of stuff, and I really didn't have room at my house. I'm a single account person, by the way. I didn't have any room to, put that up there without running my lockdowns up, so I ran over there and dumped a whole bunch of stuff in that. So, yeah, I know a lot of outfits do exactly that for various reasons and various causes and stuff of this nature. And sometimes I've even seen them set up when somebody did something, got in some financial straits and lost their account, and they managed to reactivate it, but they still lost a bunch of their stuff and everything, and they're trying to get back started. All kind of reasons.
Yeah, and let me just give you guys an idea of what, a lot of people just say, oh, well, you can just lock down a box and, people can put stuff in it, stuff like that, set it to anyone, lock it down, and people can donate. Well, that's not the case, folks. Let me explain to you, The problem with that is if you're not the owner or you're not a friend of the house or a co-owner or anything, you cannot put anything into the box if it's locked down and set to anyone. You can only look into the box, and that's the only thing you can pretty much do. Let's say, for example, if I put a pile of gold in that lockdown box and I'm the owner of the box or whatever, I locked it down, I put a gold pile in there, well, yeah, anybody can come along and dump gold onto the pile or into the box then. But what about the people who, basically want to put in gold checks or, don't want to lug around all that gold? I mean, think about it, folks. You can carry around maybe 5 to 10K of gold on you, and then you're overweight. I mean, that's 10K is if you ain't got nothing else on you. So, I mean, do you really want to be lugging around 10K of gold, or would you much rather have a 10K check that you can pop in that lockdown box and, and donate? But anyway, let me quickly read to you my little idea here on the Ideals Den over there, and you can go over there and vote on it if you want to. Vote yes or no as to whether or not you think it is a good idea. And basically what I'm asking for is, could we please have a way to turn lockdown containers in houses into a donation container in which we can drop gold and checks into? This would be great for collecting and receiving tips at taverns and other types of establishments. This is already pretty much much the case, except it is can only be done in the form of gold only when the gold pile already exists within the container, and even then is limited to just 60k. For the gold pile, and people can only carry so much gold at any given time as well. Could we please see something like this implemented? I mean, would it be really hard to implement, or realistically, would something like this be hard to implement or not? Anyhow, if you are a reader and are supportive of the idea, then please post in support of this ideal. And then I go on to elaborate a little bit more, and I say, P.S. I would like to elaborate on the idea a bit more. I would like to make it to where people can define what types of donations they wish to accept, as well as easily see, because I can easily see people, seeing a donation box and just griefing it. And how would they grief a donation box, you might ask? Well, think about it, folks. If you had a donation box and it's limited down to 125 lockdowns, right? Well, I could be just a griefer or a jerk and just come by and just drop a crap load of junk. I mean, just junk in there, so that way nobody else that legitimately wants to drop in a donation, like a gold check or gold or anything else for that matter, can't do so because there's just not enough room to put it in there, So, what I think we ought to do is, if we're going to have the donation box, make it to where you can define whether or not you want other items in there. For example, all items or gold. And if you let's say you have it set down to anyone, you can then go to the context menu, put all items, or you can select gold on the context menu whenever it's locked down, set to everyone. That's something I'm just thinking of along those lines. I want to hear from you folks out there who are listening in. I want to hear your thoughts on the IRC. What do you think about it? I mean, do you think a donation box is a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing, or what? And I want to kind of hear y'all's thoughts on that here in the TeamSpeak with me. Deadeye, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. If, I was also thinking of expound on it, how we go about, for example, placing a trash barrel in your house. And it'd be really neat if we could place them kind of that way by saying a phrase or anything and then placing this particular item, where we wanted it. I think that'd be great. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't like the idea of any text commands because what Mr. Tax made a very interesting point on the U-Haul board, so somewhere on the Stratic forums, and he basically said he didn't like the idea that you had to type something in order to place a trash can or something like that. Because the simple fact, not everybody knows the command on how to place a trash can. Not everybody knows the command on how to renounce their young status, and so that's where the importance of context menus is, because basically the context menu basically triggers the word for you, the text for you, and automatically does it. That's what I think, needs to be done. Instead of doing, I wish to place a trash barrel, I think it ought to be, you right click or you click on something, you got a context menu, you can place the trash barrel. That's how I think it ought to be, or you click on yourself, place trash barrel, okay? That's what I think ought to be done. No text commands or anything like that, because a lot of people don't know them, especially the newer players and stuff like that. Go ahead, Fool.
Yeah, okay, I'm just going along with this idea. It's a really good idea about the donation box, because in the end, donations is very much spur of the moment thing. If you buy a donation box, and it's just like, I've just been hunting, got myself 6k, to be honest, you're more than likely going to be putting it into a donation box if it's there in front of you, rather than thinking, I have to go back to do a donation somewhere else, or to buy something off a vendor, or to meet somebody, and you're not going to actually do that. It's, as I said, it's a spur of the moment kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's definitely something I asked about in the last House of Commons, if you guys remember. I think I asked a question there, and I was like, what about donation boxes? And they was like, well, we don't know about the idea and everything because this is something you would see in The Sims Online, and according to players and feedback we gotten from players, they don't want to see any of that stuff in Ultima Online. Yet they'll take ideas from games like World of Warcraft and stuff like that, and yet they'll totally dismiss the idea of implementing or adding a donation box, which could be widely used by establishments such as taverns and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't understand that. Basically they'll knock another one of their online game products, yet they won't, consider the idea. And I guess that's the reason I pretty much have to put this idea out there to give you guys more of a thought, on the idea, so that way maybe you guys will advocate for it and support it. Because I don't think it could hurt. I don't see anything that it could possibly do to hurt the game. I mean, we got other things in the game that probably really isn't all that realistic for the time period, but really, I think we did have donation boxes back in the 1600s or whatever time period that Ultima Online was set in, I mean, come on, people. Anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to our next subject here. Let's see. Let's see. Do you think it would be have been better if they made the quest logs on the Madane's Legacy, on the offers, and how the NPCs, try to offer you quests and stuff like that? Do you think it would have been better if they made that quest log transparent instead of solid where you can't see through it? Do you think it would have been better if they made it transparent, Deadeye?
Well, yeah, probably. That way, if you're involved and you want to pop it up real quick, I kind of like transparent menus myself, like a lot of the crafting menus are, because if you have to pop it up and take a quick look at it, you don't lose the, complete view of what you're doing,
Yeah, and that's one thing I liked about the transparent menus and stuff like that, because it doesn't take away. I mean, it doesn't block. The view of things. For example, you might be in the middle of a conversation, you have this quest box that pops up on your screen, you're like, what did he just say? I just missed out on what he said, or something like that. So, but as far as Jammer, he's saying the donation box is nice, but we really don't need it. It takes time to develop it after all. Well, really, I don't think it'd be all that much of an effort to develop something like that, because I think it'd just be a few lines of code to basically implement that into something that's already in place. So it's not like they have to go out and totally new recode something or anything like that. I mean, I think it'd be quite easy, to be quite honest, but it'd be rather handy nonetheless, like DJ Deadeye over here says. So maybe they can modify the barkeeps or something like that would hold the go. That's a very good idea, Jammer. Yeah, if you could give gold checks to the barkeeps or something like that, that would be very great. That's what we should suggest or something like that. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Good idea there. You're really thinking today. So yeah, I didn't ever even think about that, but good idea. Bull, do you have any comments on the transparent menu or anything like that?
I've got to say, it's definitely the way to go, transparent menus. Otherwise, basically, you're going to have a whole screen just fill up with the menu, not really knowing what you're doing before you went into the menu. Well, so it's just one of those strange things they come up with once in a while. Let's just put a block menu in, then you forget actually what you're doing.
Yeah, I think they will probably fix that and change it to a transparent menu over time. The reason they probably didn't do it in the very beginning is probably because I'm sure it probably takes a little bit more effort to make it into a transparent menu to begin with. But maybe once Madane's Legacy rolls out and everything, maybe they'll get around to doing something about it. Let's see, and hopefully they're listening. I'm sure they download these talk shows just to see what kind of things we are grappling about, this week and stuff like that. But let's see. Next subject which we got here and everything. Were neon-colored weapons and armor really needed to define special high-end properties. Do you think the bright pink and the red and all these other, bright orange and bright green colors were really necessary to define high-end properties on items and weapons and armor? Do you think that was really necessary? Go ahead, Paul.
I've got to admit, I don't agree with any of the major colour and what's been going on from the top guys, through to ML, to be honest. I mean, a weapon's a weapon, whichever way you look at it. It's just people want to go around, and it's just that, oh, look what weapon I've got, you can see what it is, because it's bright blue, or it's bright yellow, and it's just like, that's kind of odd in my mind.
So, are you actually in support of the coloring of the weapons and stuff, or do you not really like the idea of it even being that color? Or because some might argue that it takes away the realism of the weapon, or some might say, oh, it's very appropriate. Are you saying it's appropriate or inappropriate in your opinion, Paul?
Very inappropriate. I think it's just a way for them just so everybody can go get this weapon. Oh, it's great, look at the colour of it, and it's obvious what it is. But it doesn't give you anything more to use as a weapon. It is just the colour, and I can't really see the point of it. It's taken away from the realism of the game.
Yeah, I totally agree. Deadeye, do you have anything that you want to say on that?
Well, technically, actually, in the beginning when those came along, it didn't bother me that much. But at the same token, I do remember making a comment that it was kind of odd to have a bright orange weapon or anything. But what I liked more along those lines, for the example of like certain axes, halberds, bardaches, this kind of thing, where the only part of the weapon that was colored, like if it's heavy fire, if it's kind of an orange color, was the blade section. Now that looked kind of cool. Or it'd be like the same thing as putting some kind of a glow or something, or an aura around, something to indicate that it has a magical property to it. That I liked a little bit, but the actual shaft of the weapon, the handle, whatever like that, looked a little more natural. That I kind of liked.
Yeah, are you saying the blade should be left the color that it is, and that the wooden part of the like the handle of the, like for example, take a halberd or something like that, you don't think the handle of the halberd should be the same color as the blade, or you think it ought to retain its wooden properties?
I like the wooden property. If you're gonna color part of it to indicate that it's a poison weapon or fire weapon or something, and a lot of times that isn't necessarily an indicator. Sometimes it's a combination of several things. You have to look at the individual stats on the weapon. But I thought that looked a little classier, where you still had in the handle and all that stuff, and the pole arm part of it, you still had the natural wood, and the only part that was colored was blade. I thought that looked pretty sharp.
Yeah, very good point there and everything. What I would like to ask the players and everything, I wanted to ask the players, do you think that the wooden part of the portion of the weapon, do you think that ought to retain its color, or a wooden color that is, its wooden properties, or do you think it ought to be similar to that of the blade? And what I want to go, and after I get done asking, talk with Fool on about that, I want to ask the question of whether or not do you think with the new lead artist at Electronic Arts will Ultima Online, if you think he will if he might, restore the wooden properties on the wooden handle portion of the weapon. Do you think he might restore that part later on, whenever it gets time to get around to it, or do you think it will always stay the way it looks now? Go ahead, Deadeye.
I have no idea whether it would or not, but I've noticed that sometimes you'll see the same kind of axe. For example, take for example a battle axe. Every once in a while you'll get a battle axe that is entirely a neon color or something indicating an energy weapon or a weapon that's heavier on the cold side or whatever like that. But every once in a while you'll see one where they've only just done the blade part of it. So it looks like they're going both ways with it. I'd rather see it with just the blade portion. I think it looks a little more realistic.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, in that case, what I'd like to do now is basically read out to some of the listeners out there. Basically, what's being said in the IRC says Jammer saying, imagine a weapon that could be fire, energy, or ice cold. Don't know what the poison would look like. That would take way too much time to do every weapon though. But man, it would be good. It would be cool. So then Fool says, actually agree with the poison damage, etc. So I don't know. I'm just thinking, they ought to restore the realism back to the game. I can understand the blade portion of the weapon maybe having a different hue, but the rest of the weapon shouldn't really, be all the same color. You know what I mean? I don't think the whole entire weapon, the hilt, everything ought to be, neon blue or something like that. I think you ought to have a different, a unique. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of these player graphics for some of these weapons. For example, Fire Sword. If you've seen the Fire Swords on the Pixel Challenge thread on U-Haul, you would understand what I'm talking about. I think they could do so much more if they really wanted to. Give it some more effects, more of a unique look to it, or these weapons. I mean, if they have certain properties, make it kind of look like it's on fire, the blade on fire, like it's burning or something. That to me would be a lot more better than just huing the whole weapon, bright orange or something like that. Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, one of my comments was I mentioned, and I brought up the examples of one of the things I see most commonly like that is a battle axe. Sometimes you'll see it and it'll be fire, a fire weapon, and it'll have an orange blade on. The rest of it will be wood. Then you'll turn around and see another one that's pretty much a weapon along the same lines, maybe not exactly the same stats, but primarily a weapon heavy on fire damage emphasis, and the whole damn thing will be, whole thing will be orange. And my first comment was that looked like somebody just getting a little lazy about whether or not they want to do detail on the graphics,
Yeah, so I'll be really curious to see what kind of changes that the new lead artist for Ultima Online brings about to the game and stuff, and how long is he going to be with us? I hope he's along with us for a long time and everything, because I think that would be I think that would be a great thing if they could actually, take some of these items and actually make them a lot more unique. And let me quickly read some of the things that are being said here in the IRC. Jammer said, imagine the blade being on fire, actually flames coming from it. I mean, that'd be nice, and Angel says. And so, yeah, so people seem to like that idea and everything. So I think those things would be pretty cool, because I've seen some pretty awesome work that players have done over on the Pixel Challenge thread. And so I'm hoping maybe EA could bring something like that to us. I mean, that would be awesome. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and move along to our next question here, or our next topic, which is, what do you think about people running around in mixed matched colors and suits of armor? I mean, for example, have you ever seen anybody running around with Gapite armor and then Valorite armor and pieces of Barite armor, just like a rainbow suit? I mean, have you ever seen anybody running around like that? And I mean, and they're just doing it for the properties, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, what do you think about people running around in mixed match suits? Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, it's just like anything else. Some people are going to have an eye to whether they want to look good, or others aren't going to worry about it. Me personally, I've been known to wear a suit of armor that was mismatched like that, but just looked terribly ugly, and I'd throw a robe over it or something, I currently have an all 70s suit that actually looks pretty, but I use the Admiral's rum red, the dyes on it, and made it look pretty good. But, it's just going to be both ways. Some people are going to worry about what they look. Personally, I don't think I believe not only do you have to be bad to the bone, but you must look good while you're being bad to the bone, you understand?
Yeah, I'm actually reading IRC now, and I'm actually reading what they're saying to your comment. For example, people are responding. You said something to the effect, Deadeye, you said something to the effect on IRC, like the fire steeds in 3D were with the flames on their feet or their hooves. And then Jammer said, wow, I haven't even seen them in 3D. And Angel says, me neither, I never used 3D. Yeah, but Yeah, just to quickly touch on that, yeah, if you ever rode a Fire Steed in 3D and everything, you would notice that these Fire Steeds in 3D had like a little trail of flames behind them on their hooves whenever they took a step. You would see a little fire kick up from their hooves and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool and stuff like that. But Full, do you have any comments on the mismatched suits in which people wear, like rainbow-colored suits and stuff like that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I can't really give any thoughts on that one because if anybody ever sees me or has seen me in game, they know that I can't really give judgment on multicoloured suits made up with totally different things which don't really go together.
Yeah, and you might say, well, yeah, they got the Takuno dyes, which they can dye their armor, to make it match and everything. But the thing is not everybody can afford those dyes either. So I mean, unless you go out and get all these quest items or whatever, if they still have any in the game, some people are just not going to be able to afford it, or just not going to be able to get all these items that are needed to get the Takuno dyes. I don't know if they still got that going on. I'm sure they do, probably to some extent. But yeah, I just don't think, I just don't like the whole concept of people wearing multi-color suits. Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, as far as anybody in control on that, people can wear whatever they want to put on, but I had a guildmate, for example, that put together a really super suit. I mean, had great stats and everything and all that stuff, and I turned around and said, good Lord, that's ugly. I gave him a robe. I said, put this on.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I'm going to go ahead and move on to our next topic here. We're quickly moving along through all these topics and everything. And let's see. It says, what are your thoughts on the Takuno dyes? Do you think the orange colors might have affected the rarity of the Phoenix armor? Do any of you guys think the orange, I don't know if you guys have been playing around with the Takuno dyes or anything, but the orange colors in which you get with the Takuno dyes, do you think they might have slightly affected the rarity of the Phoenix armor? Go ahead, Full.
Well, just to put my 2 pence in, the Phoenix armor, I can't really see how it's going to affect the price, to be honest, because in the end it is a rare, and it was from the Clean Up Britannia program, wasn't it? But it's not going to affect the prices, I can't see.
Yeah, very good point and everything. I'm just looking at it, because you can have replicas, and if I don't know if it works this way in real life, but you take a rare item and you make replicas of it. If you make replicas of it, the rarity of that item or the rare item typically drops in value, does it not, over time? Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, I haven't actually. I'm sorry. I don't believe I've ever actually laid eyes on a set of Phoenix armor, but I don't know about that. But I do know one thing, is that once we got the dyes, they were able to take, the big street light posts that was one of the cool reward items that people were bringing out of Doom, and later on they get them in various colors, which were even more rare, and they were very high dollar, the green ones and such, and they were able to take the dyes and take a normal lamppost, turn around and dye it to make it look almost identical, and I know that made it difficult to find out whether or not you really had the one that came out of Doom or not.
You mean you could take like the Takuno dyes and basically dye the lanterns? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I never even knew you could do that. Can you still do that to this day?
As far as I know.
Wow, I might have to try that sometime because I've actually kind of wondered, if you, what does it look, lanterns for my house and everything, but I just never could get the rare colored items, or the lanterns out of the, Doom or anything. Hell, if I even know where they even come from, I guess they come from Doom. I just know I wanted like 2 of them or something like that, just to decorate my house, but just can't find them. Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, now the dyes themselves will only work on an item that's enhanced or an item that is an artifact, that has a artifact rarity, something or other, like some of the items that come out of Doom. In other words, you couldn't take a regular lantern like you can tinker, turn around and use the dyes on them. It won't work. It either has to be an artifact, or it has to be, if you use them on armor, they has to be an enhanced enhanced item. You can use them on bows, like stuff like I dyed my Horse Lord bow white, for example, and this kind of thing, but it has to be either an artifact or it has to be an enhanced item.
Yeah, what I meant by later was actually light posed to be more technical and everything. I actually mispronounced it or used the wrong word, should I say. Anyhow, I guess you don't have anything to say on that, Paul, but we'll just quickly move on down the list here. Let's see, what are your thoughts on the way ES manages other online games and it's on its bad track record with other online games? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, are you thinking of learning from these mistakes and applying, using these, bad experiences in their track record to their advantage, or what? Do you think it's slowly making them a better, manager of online games, or what? Starting with you, Deadeye.
Well, from what I hear, I think they have a pretty good system of support for UO, and they have been. It's not perfect, and it's varied with time as to, like how many GMs they have on duty, and people complaining about, how long it takes to page a GM, which is part of the support mechanism and all that kind of stuff. But from what I read with some of the other games along the same lines as UO and everything, and from what I hear as far as the support's concerned, I think we've probably got one of the better systems around. Granted, it's not perfect, but I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I hear you on that, and I totally agree with that assessment. Because Ultima Online is like the flagship of it's EA's online games and stuff like that and everything. But hey, that's they're not doing too bad with it. Hopefully, I'm interested to see how popular Modane's Legacy is with the players and everything. Yeah, it seems to be an already growing success with most of the players and everything. Because I think Wilkie a few days ago on U-Haul made a post saying it seems to be a great success already. So hopefully that trend will continue and we see an increase in subscription growth with Modane's Legacy. I think a lot of people that are interested in playing elves will actually probably get a little bit curious and actually create an elf character just to see what it's like. And it'll definitely be interesting to see how that works out and everything with the players and everything. See if they keep a huge interest in that and whether or not they develop more races in the future, such as gargoyles and stuff like that. All right, well, what I'm going to do, we are quickly getting through the list here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move down the list to our next topic. What shards would you rate personally as your top choice shards to go and play on, and why? Starting with Deadeye.
Well, that'd be a pretty tough question for me to answer. I honest to God, in my entire 7 years of the game, I haven't played on any other shard very much. I played on Baja a little bit, and I played a little Siege areas, but most of the time my home has been Sonoma for the entire time.
Okay, well, let's just say if you were to quit that shard and you were to go looking for another shard, what shard would you probably play on, and for what reason?
Well, I've been I've never done much player versus player type thing, and I've done about everything in the game, along the lines and everything, and that's about the only direction I'm going to go, and I'm thinking about going that way, or at least creating some characters to go that way, or convert over some of my current characters or my legendary archer or something, I don't know. But I from our guild interviews and stuff, it sounds like there's a lot of action up on Atlantic, and that sounds like maybe I might try that out.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Fool.
Just saying what shards playing on. Started a long time ago on Atlantic, and we had ourselves a little community there. Obviously moved over to Europa when that started up, because of the ping basically. Been a Europa player for about 3 years. I love Europa, all the people there, brilliant people. And moved over to Legends not that long ago, just for a bit of a break. I think I played different shards, played a bit on Great Lakes, a bit in Baja, but I have to admit, Europa is my home.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask, pose that question to myself as well. If I had to, basically leave Chesapeake, which is my home shard and everything, and I was considering on moving on to another shard or something like that, I would probably go play on a shard like Great Lakes, or Lake Superior, or Atlantic, or Europa, and I'll give you the reasons why. I would probably choose Great Lakes for the simple fact that, I got good, ping rate to Great Lakes and everything, and that's really the shard I should have played on. It seems to have a lot of community there. It seems to be a really big shard, a lot bigger than Chesapeake, from what I can tell. And it seems to have a lot more community on that shard, so... let's see, and Lake Superior, it's not too far behind. It's kind of like Chesapeake, in a way, in my opinion. I would probably play on that one because of the good ping rate and stuff like that, but I don't really know of it to have too much of a great, as big of a community as Great Lakes does. So, I probably wouldn't choose Lake Superior as my... It would probably be my fourth choice to go play on, but Great Lakes would probably be, let's see, I'd probably play on that one as my second choice. My first choice would be Europa, probably, if I didn't have, probably be Europa for the simple fact that, if you look at Europa, I like the unique community that they have over there. And people ask, what's so unique about Europa? Well, go look at their forge over in Britain. That's one unique aspect of Europa that no other shard has. And if you look at Europa, you have role players over there, you have community over there, you have unique areas over there which you don't see on any other shard. I actually kind of envy Europa for the simple fact they got a unique forge like they do, and I've always kind of wished they would bring something like that to other shards and stuff like that. Give the forges a unique touch, kind of similar to what they did to Europa. We kind of put that on every shard or something. Maybe that would spark a little bit of life. But let's see. Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, of course, I say I played on Sonoma all these years, and the reason being is that all my friends and UO friends and associates are there. But one of the kind of cool things now is that ever since joining it up here with y'all here at UO Radio, and to all the lovely people over here on IRC, I now have a lot of associates that play on all different kind of shards. So that would be one of the things that would make it kind of cool for me to try out other shards, because at least I know someone there,
Yeah. Well, somebody's asking me who I'm interviewing. Let me answer that question real quick. I'm not interviewing anybody. I'm actually just doing a talk show. So what I'm going to go do is I'm actually finish up typing this real quick and everything. I'm going to talk to the listeners. You guys are not going to be able to hear me on TeamSpeak, so if I get real quiet, you'll know why.
We can't imagine you getting real quiet, Viceroy.
So, I got a question here for you guys, and I actually can use my hands to hold down the talk button so you guys can hear me. I got a question here from one of our listeners, from Angel, and she posed a topic for us, and she basically asked us to talk about since people will have all these new items from the zoo, library chest, the veteran rewards change. For example, do you think they'll change up the rewards from the zoo and libraries and stuff like that over time, to keep it fresh, or do you think they'll forget about it? I'm kind of curious as to what you guys think about that. Do you think they'll keep it fresh, or do you think, like, say, 3 or 4 months from now, they'll update the items, come out with some kind of new item that you'll get as a reward? Just keep things interesting. Go ahead, Fool.
Personally speaking, I think in a year's time we're still going to be looking at exactly the same rewards as what they come out with, for the sheer fact it's going to take some people a year just to get the reward they want. If you think about it, it's okay, somebody who's going to be playing 16 hours a day, going to get their resources or hunting to get the gold to get their reward, but some people playing an hour a day, it's going to take them a long time to get their reward. So for the sheer fact of that, I don't think there is going to be a change in rewards for a while, if at all.
Yeah, I hear you. Deadeye, do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, well, I pretty much agree with Fool. You know, they've got to take into consideration the people that don't have a lot of time, playtime, you know, and everything, and they want a particular item. Of course, now, by the same token, you know, we had the minor artists that were available in the islands and all that stuff, and there was a time limit put on them, you know, from the beginning. So, you know, they could do something like that where you turn around and say, okay, these items are going to be available for this amount of time, maybe 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, something like that. But they, you know, they certainly did it on some of those items. You know, as far as the little scenario where we were getting over the minor artifacts and trade them in for the majors and that kind of thing, which is driven up the value on the miners, I think, and will over time, because now since you can't run out there and get them anymore, well, then they're going to be rare, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, somebody mentioned here about the Europa Forge and everything. I quickly want to go back to that and everything. I think they will. I think that, you know, if you look at the track record and everything, I think they'll forget about it. But if they somehow like put a little reminder note to give a look at it about 3 or 4 months from now, I think they might just consider putting out some new prizes and stuff for people to get. Say, well, that's going to be the end of that prize. Well, you know, if you missed out on that, you can trade those items around and, you know, buy and sell. And and give those items a little bit of rarity and stuff like that. But anyway, to go back to the Europa Forge and stuff like that, somebody said that, I think it was Jammer over here, yeah, it was Jammer. He said he also had the same forge added over to Drachenfels, which I didn't know about, by the way. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out. So yeah, you know, IGM Tallis, he was a great guy, in my opinion. I didn't really get to meet him or anything like that, but yeah, you know, I just kind of wish, you know, some of the American shards had IGMs like that, and, you know. If you look around on Europa, not Europa, but some of the Japanese shards, you will see that they oh my gosh, you will see, I don't know if you've seen the farms around Britain on the Japanese shards, but they created towns, designed a whole town just about, you know, houses, you know, little, you know, I don't know what they call their little Japanese houses and stuff like that, but they create like houses where you go in, and it's really neat. You got to go over there sometime and go check out the farms around Britain, because you'll understand what I'm talking about over on the Japanese shards and Chinese shards or whatever shards they are. But go check out the Asian shards sometimes. I think you would be really impressed by what you saw, see what they're doing on their shard, what they're doing with their, you know, I guess IGM, so to speak, on their shard and stuff like that. So give them a check out sometime and drop on by there. You know, just give them, you know, the lag is, I wouldn't advise playing on that shard because the lag, of course, it's not all that great, especially if you're connected from Europe or you're connected from America. That would be almost like trying to play on Europa or something like that. But anyways, let me have a quick look here, and nobody wants to say anything. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is actually move on to our next oh yeah, I forgot to emphasize on the shard choices and everything. And then, of course, I said Atlantic. And the reason I would play on Atlantic because it has more of an RP community, but I'm not hardcore RPer. I'm just more into a place where a lot of people are at. I just want to play on a shard where there's a lot of players, and it's not hardcore RP, but you got a lot of players. So I would probably go with Great Lakes as my number one choice, then Europa second, and then Lake Superior third, and then Atlantic fourth. Even though I said a different order earlier, but you know, now after thinking about it, I think Atlantic would probably be my fourth choice now because I just don't like all the drama. And I don't see a lot of drama on Great Lakes, but I do see a little bit. I mean, you got drama on every chart, but not to the extent like I do on Atlantic. So okay, that's going to take us to our next question here. I think we got about 1 or 2 more questions before we wrap up, and then we're going to have to pretty much call it a close unless somebody else got something to throw out as you know, a topic for us to maybe discuss. Let's see, the next question, or the next topic, should I say. Do you think there will be any 8th year rewards? And if so, what do you think it would be? And what might you want to see for an 8-year reward? What do you want to see for an 8-year reward? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Deadeye. What would you like to see for an 8-year reward?
Oh man, I don't know. That would be really hard to say because over the years we've gotten some really really great stuff. I would like to see this. This is kind of general. Maybe I'd like to see a combination of maybe some semi-useful decorator items or something that's usable in the game. One of the things that I really liked, they had some pretty cool stuff for the 7th anniversary awards, which I particularly like that. One of the songs that I thought was particularly neat was the Tapestry of Cesaria. I thought that was cool, and some of the things like that. So and being a 7 almost going on 8-year veteran, I kind of like having a lot of those items on display in my house. It indicates, how long I've been playing and all this kind of thing. So I'd like to see a combination between the two. But as far as specific items, boy, I'll tell you what, we've seen so many nice items over the years, it's hard to say.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it will definitely be hard for them to introduce something they haven't already introduced or something to the extent that they haven't already introduced, so to speak. Go ahead, Fool.
Just commenting on the rewards, not necessarily the 8th year rewards, but I'd like to see some work being put into clothes or clothes properties as a reward. I think that's sadly lacking. You go around and off various sides, namely Oceania, you get like cloaks, robes with properties, which you don't get on any other side. So I think it'd be nice if you had something down the clothing line.
Okay, so basically you would like to see more clothing rewards, like like the bronze robe and stuff like that. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see maybe them introducing or something to that effect. Yeah, because we already got the robes, we already got the cloaks. We just maybe need sashes or something like that. Go ahead, Deadeye.
An idea along those lines just occurred to me because obviously, if you've been playing long enough to get an 8-year award, I think you ought to get something really, really good because you've been awful dedicated to the game and all. And an idea would be say if they included a weapon from the different combat skills, like a fencing weapon and a sword weapon and an archery weapon and blah blah, this kind of thing, and one that really has super killer stats, and also really a really bad weapon, and then also included items that are geared to the individual crafting skills, like your miner, your tailor, your blacksmith, and this kind of thing. Where you have something that you can do something really really special with. In other words, I hope I laid that out right.
Yeah, I think you pretty much summed up basically saying that, let's say, for example, if you're a smith, you want to choose like a reward that's suitable to what would be something that a smith would use, something that goes along with your profession. In other words, right?
Yeah, exactly. Something that you can do really great things with. If you're pretty much into, you're not much of a crafter, but you're pretty much in here going into doing the war thing, either PVM or PvP, either way. Something that's just a really, really, really killer weapon with awesome stats on it or something like that. Something that indicates and will reward you well for the time you spent being dedicated to UO, or as far as the crafter is concerned, an item that he can do something very, very unique and very, very special, that everybody else isn't going to be able to do. And also have it, if somebody sells you an Ethy unicorn or something until you make your 5-year anniversary or whatever it is for that thing. I believe it's 5 years. You can't ride it. You can own it all you want to. It'll sit right there in your house or your pack or whatever you want to do, but you can't use it, and I think that's the way it ought to be.
Right, totally. What I've noticed, and I wanted to quickly point this out because we were talking about shards a little bit earlier. I wanted to point out to everybody out there listening in or listening to this recording, we just added the pictures from Japan that was taken on August the 25th, because as you probably know, or if you didn't know, you do know now, on August the 25th, EA was in Japan. Binky, Curtis, and Niobe were in Japan having a town hall meeting in Japan. So if you're looking for some pictures from that was taken in Tokyo, go over to our photo gallery on yourradio.com and click on photo gallery, and then go to Town Hall Pictures, and then go to the Tokyo Town Hall Pictures. So that way you can check out the pictures there. And if you look around good enough, you will probably see that they also, it looked like they had somebody dressed up in the green robe that was at the Yo Town Hall meeting in Tokyo. So what does that tell me? Tells me they probably got seers over there. Yeah. So, you know, it's, which is quite interesting that they have seers over on Japan and we don't have them here in the United States or Europe. So hopefully we will start seeing seers come back maybe here in the near future or something like that, because I think that would be great. I don't know if the EMs would be looking forward to something like that, or because it might compromise their job. So I'm kind of curious as to whether or not the EMs would like get seer powers, or would they get, you know, basically get the axe and get eliminated from the EM program because they wouldn't need the EMs pretty much anymore, or what? You know, what do you guys think about that? Do you think the EMs would get the axe if seers were to be introduced, or do you think they get just promoted to the rank of seers instead of EMs? Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not sure. I'm not real familiar with all that, and I really don't have any thoughts on that.
Okay, Fool, do you have any thoughts on that by any chance?
Well, trying to remember back about the Sears program, and the Sears done a lot of good things for UO, especially Europa, brought in a few various things, and I'd like to see a return back. I have to admit, see a return back to the program, to be honest.
So what I'm really trying to ask now is whether or not you think the EMs would get fired, essentially, or you think their contract wouldn't be renewed, or do you think they would get promoted to the rank of seers? I mean, that's what I'm trying to ask, you know. Deadeye, you think they would get promoted, or do you think they would get the axe?
Well, I think axing people with experience is always a bad thing. You know, if you have people that are experienced, I think they should promote them.
Yeah, totally. Me personally, I think they ought to, you know, promote them over to seers, because, I mean, hell, they already pretty much have the powers of seers, just not to the full extent like the seers did, to my understanding and everything. So, let's see, and on a note, Draconi is over here saying, he's saying over here, Draconi or Draconi, I don't even know if I'm saying it, I think it's Draconi. But anyhow, he says, note, the volunteer system in Japan wasn't constricted by the problems we had over here. Well, you know, if it wasn't constricted over here, then why is it constricted over in Europe as well? Maybe you can answer that for me, Draconi, because, you know, we all know why it's constricted over here in the United States, but we don't know why exactly it's constricted over in Europe as well. So if you guys can maybe give me an answer for that, or give me some idea as to why that would be, maybe you guys can you know, give me some insight on that as to why it might be constricted over in Europe as well. And then Samara says, "Oh, Fives is talking about accidents," and then Airmid is over here. They are not blessed or insured, and then Airmid said, "Never," said Samara, and so Angel said, "Okay, thanks." And then Jammer says, "Samara, would it matter if you are a seer or EM?" I'm kind of curious. Would you guys be happy if the EMs would be happy to be seers? I'm just kind of curious if they would take the promotion or what. The powers of the EMs are tied into an old seers command. Let's see. Draconi says probably not. They'd probably work to actually coordinate the volunteers. Let's see. In Samara, we can have more powers than the seer stuff, which bans shards. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't be reading all this, but hey, we're just trying to fill the time, right? Right. Let's see, Samara, you could. I'm reading through here. Why would you be serious if you had EM powers? Quite interesting. You know, it looks like the EMs are like on 3-month contracts, so yeah, they could possibly axe them and replace them, or they could promote them. So it would definitely be interesting. So let's go ahead and move on to our next thing here. Let's discuss the lag issues with EM events. Why do you think the lag is there on EM events? Why do you think there's so much lag with EM events? You know, whereas if you get a bunch of people together, it always seems to have a tendency to create lag. Do you think it's just poor memory on people's computers, or do you think it's more of a lag issue of just so many people being in one area, or what? Can I get your opinion, Fool?
Well, I haven't witnessed quite a few EM events on Europa. The actual sheer weight of people there actually trying to all spam at once, cast spells at once, move at once, always usually in Brit as well. It's going to cause lag. I don't think there's anything you can actually do about it. When you're talking, there's well over 100 people there at almost every EM event.
I'm getting beating up. Oh my gosh, I'm getting the hits. Okay, I love you too. Go ahead, Dad.
Well, I don't know why the lag is bad, but you know, we have situations where we get together, and as long as people have broadband, say for example like the invasion of Britain. Now, you know, when they were doing all that stuff, I was heavily involved with that and out there in the middle of it and doing the war thing, and you know, we were running around there. Of course, the dial-up people was having a heck of a time because of all the, you know, there's so many monsters on the screen and everything moving around, all that kind of stuff. But kind of makes me wonder, you know, how they go about exactly running the event. You know, they like is that how should I put this? Is that being handled or compartmentalized on the server somehow to where, you know, it can't quite handle the loading that would normally go on during normal UO play. You follow what I
said? Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Go ahead, Fool. Did you have something that you wanted to add?
I'm just looking at the IRC going through there now about the events. It's quite interesting if you want to log on to have a read of it.
Okay. Well, you know, I think the thing with the EM events and everything is oh my goodness.
I think your grandma's in trouble, man.
Yeah, I think she is too. I'm gonna have to lock the doors and bar the doors and everything tonight and sleep with one eye open. Oh no, I got the mob after me now. Okay, let's see. I think the lag is pretty much there because of the like you guys pointed out and everything. Everybody trying to cast the spells at once. I'm just curious if it's like on the server side or if it's on the player end side. You know, that creates all the lag. You know, is it because we got slow computers? You know, just not enough memory or not enough processors, or is it just because of the internet connection issues or on the server side? Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, I think it's on their end because we have other things that have gone together that we've done together in great masses of players and everything, and not had those kind of problems all the time.
Okay. And I quickly want to give a little shout out over to Masara of Sonoma. She wants to say Sonoma and Pacific Rocksters, and so that shout out goes out to them and everything. Viceroy, might be worthwhile you asking if there is yeah, I might have to ask about that in the future. Oh yeah, and that brings up another good, interesting point here. For all you guys coming next Sunday and everything, we are going to be interviewing live with Mr. Tact. Yes, that is right, Mr. Tact from Electronic Arts. He's going to be here with us, if I'm not mistaken. He's on the live team. We are going to be sitting down with him for 2 hours. Yes, folks, 2 hours. And so we're going to get to have a little get to know him, you know, you know, ask him, you know, a little bit about himself, so that way we get you on a more little personal level as to understand what kind of person he is and stuff like that. And then we'll ask him the questions from your radio, and then we'll follow up with some questions from the Ultima Online community in which players have for him as well. He may not be able to answer all the questions in which we have for him. Just quickly let you guys know, any questions that can't be answered by him will be deferred over to somebody else that can better answer the questions that he cannot answer. So I you know, I figured I'd just go ahead and throw out the good news out there and everything. And so let's see. Just having a little quick read over the IRC. And so with that said, we're going to go ahead and go to our last topic, and then we're going to wrap up. We got about 19 minutes remaining. Do you guys have anything that you guys want to say before we go over to the next topic? All right, guess not. Okay, last topic of the day is will the quality and vibrant colors of these paper dolls be as good looking on the avatar when not looking at the paper doll? And what I'm getting at on this question here is basically with regards to the new if you look at the pixel graphics challenge and everything, people come up with some sophisticated and really elaborate pieces of armor and stuff like that. Do you think it would be hard to actually implement that onto your avatar in-game? I mean, when it may look good on your avatar or let's say your paper doll and everything, but would it actually look good in-game, and would it look like it was normal and everything? Do you understand the question? If you don't understand the question, I'll rephrase it for you guys. Go ahead, Deadeye.
Well, I think we're going to have the situation that to some degree that we've always had. You know, it looks better on your paper doll than it does on your actual character in game. Number one, in game we're dealing with a lot smaller image. You know, so the level there's going to be a limit on being able to, you know, detail our in-game image. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, do you think it would look as good as it does on the paper doll, or do you think it would actually be kind of hindered?
Well, that varies from item to item. You know, it's just going to kind of depend on what they do because the graphics that they're doing on the paper doll end are one thing, but what happens out there when you put this armor piece or whatever it is on your character or anything is an entirely different thing. And I guarantee you, we're talking about two different sets of art here.
Yeah. Oh, I love you. I'm not mad at you, Masara. Go ahead, Fool.
I thought you were saying you loved me. I'm going to go, hey, wait a minute. Hey, I'm going to go, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't love you quite yet. So go ahead, Fool.
Just going on like the theme on the clothing, things like that. It's all going to look nice on paper doll, but as soon as you actually have to put it onto your avatar on screen, it's never going to look as good because basically the animation they have to put into it, and I don't really think there's anything on the avatar yet I've seen what actually looks realistic.
Yeah, very good point and everything. Just to let you guys know, that is pretty much our last topic of the day and everything. I'm just going to quickly read up on the IRC and everything. And I'm just quickly skimming it and everything. Oh, we do have some shout-outs here. Looks like we have a shout-out from Jaconi. Let's see. Where are you, Jaconi? I lost him. Oh, man. He wanted me basically give a shout-out to the people over on Atlantic, I think it was. Let's see. Let me have a look. Where is it? Well, anyways, so shout out to the people in Atlantic and everything. I want to say hello to y'all. And so, what we're going to be doing, we're also going to be trying to get some more interviews with the people at Electronic Arts because, we want to bring people from Electronic Arts to you guys so that way you get guys of a, more of an idea of what these people are like and everything, more of an insight or stuff, more of a personal level between the players and the developers, I guess you might say. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our talk show for this afternoon and everything, unless Fool has something that he wants to add. Do you have anything that you want to add, Fool, or am I looking at this wrong?
No, I haven't really got anything to add.
Okay. So with that said and everything, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys close out with any closing comments that you guys might want to add or anything. Deadeye, do you have anything that you want to close with?
Well, other than that, I think we're all looking forward to the new expansion. Everybody around here, around my house, we've got 3 machines here on network. Everybody's upgraded. We're all ready to go. Everybody's chomping his bit. I think it's going to be a good thing. Anyway, I've enjoyed being here today, and I'm generally around for the talk shows, so I'll probably be here next week also, so you all have a good day.
Yeah, sounds good, and we do look forward to seeing you next week. All right, Fool, do you have anything that you want to close with or any closing comments?
All I want to say is I just hope ML lives up to everything what's billed to be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, definitely will be interesting to see here in the next few days. Today is the 27th, I think. Yep. And so I think we got 3 more days until we actually go live with the Bourdain's Legacy and everything. So yeah, definitely be interesting to see. I bet you there's even a lot of lag come the 30th when they do go live with it and everything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So with that said, this is DJ Viceroy from Chesapeake, and then we had DJ Deadeye from Sonoma, and we had Fool from Europa and Legends. Thank you for all joining us, and we'll see you next week.